We now turn to our Achievement Awards. The Clifford C. Furness Award is presented to graduates from engineering, math, or science who have distinguished themselves in a field of science, thereby bringing honor to the university. Because of this year's recipient, Jeffrey Umland, the Mars rover Curiosity not only landed safely on the red planet, it landed a mere 1.5 miles from its touchdown target, and that was after a 350-mile journey. I took a wrong turn at Millersport and couldn't find Center for the Arts tonight. His work on mechanical, thermal, and propulsion systems to ensure the proper landing included the invention of the sky crane system, for which he holds the patent. The ultimate stamp of approval comes directly from NASA, which has announced that Curiosity's design will serve as the basis for a planned Mars rover mission in 2020. A fellow alumnus and Cornell professor of engineering, Ephraim Garcia, described Umland's job as follows. This pretty much puts him in the running for chief mechanical engineer in the USA, or certainly the mechanical engineer with the coolest job in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome now and congratulate someone I went to high school with, in fact, Jeffrey Umland.
So not to correct you unnecessarily, but it wasn't me doing all of that just by myself. There was a very large team, and we were very fortunate to have just a great set of engineers. Just a couple of comments. First of all, what a joy it is for me to be back here at UB. I come back here, my family's still here, and I come back every once in a while to Buffalo and visit and go through my list of favorite places to go eat. There's Anderson's and Bocce's Pizza and chicken wings and Ted's and all that kind of stuff. But then here I am at UB, and as Bert mentioned, I'm a local kid. I went to every school named Sweet Home Elementary, Sweet Home Junior High, Sweet Home Senior High, and then I came to University of Buffalo. And I'm just amazed at the development that this campus has gone through. I remember going to the Amherst Recreation Center when I was probably 4 or 5, doing my swimming lessons and seeing the earth movers moving the dirt around here and putting the bridges up over I think it's the Flynn entrance, and then seeing the buildings rise here. And just what a fantastic growth that's occurred over here over, say, I guess probably the last 45, 50 years. It's just amazing. And I think the university is just, really has been always in good hands and continued to build this place into just a fantastic institution. First of all, thank you to the UB Alumni Association. I'm really very honored and humbled for this award. I don't know if Ephraim's here today, but Ephraim, thank you for nominating me. Thank you for friendship for more or less the past 30 years or so. And by the way, we're getting a little old now. I don't know if most of you don't know it, but Ephraim and I share the same birthday, so we usually catch up with each other every year at our birthday. Let's see. Also, thank you to Bethany Mazur and John Cressides for kind of coordinating my day here. I spent a lot of time with the students this morning and had just a great time, and I thought we had a great interaction, so I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. This is kind of a nice opportunity for me to kind of, it's sort of long overdue to, extend my thanks to my professors that I really learned from in the engineering school and more specifically in the mechanical engineering department. There's, kind of a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it's certainly true of an engineer. In mechanical engineering, it is such a rich field with all kinds of different stuff. There's statics and dynamics, and then there's materials, and there's strength of materials, and then there's heat transfer and fluid mechanics, and there's so many different niches within engineering and mechanical engineering that it really does take a broad, wide-ranging faculty to start to put that foundation into an engineer such that they can go off and actually do something productive. And so this is really a long overdue opportunity for me to say thank you to some of my professors by name. There's Professor Sohm and Professor Main, and I think Professor Moak, the late Irving Shames. I use the basics that I learned from him every day with the engineers that I work with. And then there's my PhD advisor, Dan Inman. It really just set me on a great path. And frankly, without them, I would have, don't know where I would have been. Yeah, but frankly, I've just, been working in an engineer's playground for the past 24 years. So I also need to thank my mother. So first of all, Mom, thank you, and I love you. And I say this because as a kid growing up, I was one of those kind of challenging kids. I was kind of the kid that was sort of too frequently too close to the edge of getting into serious trouble. And my mom was sort of smart enough and wise enough, if you will, to let me have space and enough leash such that I could create my own mistakes and then work my way and recover out of them. Although there's certainly a few times that she had to really kind of defend me and bail me out of some various kind of difficult situations. So Mom, thank you very much. And frankly, I screwed up quite a bit, and I probably screwed up more often than I'll care to admit to any of you. And fortunately, I had my mom, kind of, covering my back. A couple more comments, then I'll be finished. Let's see. First of all, I'm very fortunate. I've been very fortunate throughout my career, and I've been one of the reasons is I work at JPL, and it's an engineer's playground. It's just you're working on going to Mars, or you're working on a mission for some sort of earth science thing, or mapping the Earth, or something like that, or or thinking about how can you see out into the universe to try and find planets, let alone Earth-like planets. And it's just absolutely fantastic. I really get to work with some of the best engineers and scientists that you could ever imagine to meet. But this is true at JPL as well as across the NASA centers, as well as in our contractors and partners. But that's not really my point, because there's a lot of great places to work. I know that UB would be a great place to work. I know that some of our other contractors like Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman would be fantastic places to work. But my point is I'm just continually awed at what a great country we get to live in. I get to work with places just all the way across the country. I work with companies here in Buffalo. I work with Moog, a couple other companies here. I work with companies down in Denver and Lockheed Martin, up in Washington and Seattle, and it's just amazing to me what the depth and the breadth of the resources that this country has and our technical capabilities. It's just really it's always been awe-inspiring for me. And frankly, as a kid that grew up with Apollo and then frankly with science fiction, with Star Trek and Star Wars, it's just been fantastic for me to have a career to kind of make just a little bit of that science fiction into reality. And by exploring Mars and exploring other worlds, it's just been a dream come true. Lastly, so for the students, both in the audience and the classrooms, I've got a couple of messages. So first of all, there's a lot more for us to explore out there. We're kind of in a lull with the MAN program, and maybe there's some budgetary woes, but there's always stuff to explore. You can make your niche in some of the physical sciences or engineering. There's always something else out there that we're as a country we're going to be interested in taking a look at. So that's the motivation. But then the message is there's a couple of messages. You got to push yourself. You always have to push yourself to reach your potential, and you've got a lot of potential. You've got just more potential than you'll ever know. And don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to take risks. Know kind of what you're doing, but don't be afraid to take those risks. Take them on, and you'll have a little bit of skin in the game, and you're going to work extra hard to make good on that. And then, frankly, learn from your mistakes. I've learned more from my mistakes and test failures than, I don't mean to say this with the professors in the room, but more than I did taking tests. I learned more from my mistakes than in the test failures, because then you've got to go back in and dissect what went wrong, and then recover from them. And by the way, I've broken a lot of stuff and spent a lot of money breaking a lot of stuff, but recovering from those things and fixing those stuff, that's what makes you successful. So thank you, and have a great night. Thanks.